Some common language learning blocks. Hi, I'm Louisa. I'm the author of this book, Heartful Spanish, Your Joyful Path to Fluency. And lots of people that have read this book have told me that the tips in here are also applicable to other languages. So that's why I've created this channel to share tips and tricks to help you get unstuck, unblocked with your language learning journey. And today I'm going to read the chapter all about busting through your blocks. Every problem has a solution. It may sometimes just need another perspective. Todo problema tiene una solución. A veces puede que solo necesite otra perspectiva. And that's by Catherine Russell, the author of NLP for Rookies. A word about blocks. We all have blocks in different areas of our lives. They are our limiting beliefs, the stories we tell ourselves over and over again in our subconscious mind that hold us back from achieving our goals. We argue for our limitations, focusing on our weaknesses instead of on our strengths, and on perceived obstacles instead of potential solutions. It's time to stop all that, and the first step is to identify our blocks. These will be different for everybody, but in this section I've identified 9 common blocks that may be holding you back from becoming fluent in Spanish or another language. Grab a pencil and underline the blocks that are relevant to you. You might need to take some notes here. Then turn to the appropriate section and complete the exercises I've created to help you remove your blocks. So later on my channel, I'm going to be following this up with some other exercises from here to help you unblock the particular blocks that you're working on. Let me know in the comments below which one resonates for you. Back to the book. The number one block, and one that is common to many language learners, is believing that you don't have time to learn Spanish. This classic lie becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that holds a lot of people back from making progress. And I should know, because I've been saying it to myself for years, but in relation to my now very rusty Japanese. The second block I've identified is not wanting to spend money on learning Spanish. Perhaps you've spent a lot of money and time on Spanish lessons in the past, and you don't feel it was money well invested. Whatever reasons you may have for not wanting to spend money, you'll soon see there are plenty of ways around this. The third block is that the vocab never seems to stick. You learn new words, but they don't seem to make it into your long-term memory, which reinforces the feeling of stagnation and lack of progress. Block number 4 is the feeling that you never get the chance to talk to native speakers. And this can even be a block for you if you live in the country, which happened to me when I lived in Lisbon as a 19-year-old undergraduate at a Portuguese university. If I could go back and whisper into shy, nervous 19-year-old me's ear, I'd tell her, "You make the opportunities, my love. Now go out and make friends." Block number 5 and 6 are both about feelings of embarrassment about speaking Spanish, feeling embarrassed to make mistakes, and feeling embarrassed about having a strong accent. I never had this problem in the past because I have a fairly good ear and ability to mimic native speakers, and making mistakes wasn't a big concern of mine. But when I started my podcast and accompanying Instagram account a couple of years ago, I suddenly became hyper aware of all the non-native sounding words and phrases that came out of my mouth. It's all about where you put your focus, you see. I've never felt more blocked and unfluent in my life. Ironic, considering I was creating a podcast to help people find ease and flow in their language learning. Just to be clear, I don't know any less Spanish than when I started my podcast. In fact, I probably know more now. It's just that my flow has been a bit blocked by me focusing on mistakes and obsessively trying not to make any, instead of simply feeling ease and flow when speaking Spanish, which was my previous default mode. This example demonstrates why traditional methods that focus on accumulating vocabulary and perfecting sentence structures are not the answer when it comes to actually gaining fluency. The 7th block relates to not being able to get motivated to practice or study Spanish. And this happens to all of us at times, so make sure you come back to this one anytime your joyful language practice falls by the wayside. The 8th block is a particularly blocky block. I'm sure my English teacher will have something to say about that, but anyway. And it relates to not being able to understand native speakers and having the feeling that it's all way over your head. This is a perfectly normal phase in language learning, my lovely, and it doesn't have to keep you stuck. Finally, the 9th block relates to all the different variations on the theme of I can't do this. These include, but are not limited to, the following limiting beliefs. It's too difficult, I'm no good at languages, or I'm too old, stupid, lazy, insert limiting belief of preference, to learn Spanish. Read on, my friend, for the Heartful Spanish way to bust through all of these common and completely normal blocks on the road to fluency. I hope that helped you shine a light on where you're feeling the most blocked in your language learning. Awareness is the first step, right? If you can take stock and notice where it is that you're holding yourself back, there are many, many ways that you can undo your patterns of stuckness, feeling blocked. And you yourself will probably have a lot of ideas. I've written this book to help people wake up their own intuition in language learning, because we actually have all the ideas inside of ourselves. So if you just got a journal now and chose 1 or 2 blocks of those ones that I've mentioned and started to reflect on what it is that you're feeling blocked about, and perhaps even just brainstorm ways that you could come up with ideas to unblock yourself, to do the opposite of what you've been doing and create situations to make it all feel lighter and easier, I'm sure you can find some things yourself. But I'll help you, I promise, in future videos, because these are things I'm going to be diving deeper into in the future on this channel. So stay tuned for more. Do subscribe if you like the idea of getting unblocked with me, and keep going on your language learning journey, my friend. It doesn't have to be hard. It has to be light, fun, and easy. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.